Hey, everybody. Good evening. It is Dr. Lisa, and I am here live today, trying hard to set up Facebook. For some reason, my browsers do not want to work. So if you're trying to view this on Facebook, give me 1 second, and I'm going to log in from another computer, which is what I am doing now. Hey, I hope you guys are having a good day. It has been a long one. It is dogs in Illinois, at least this part of Illinois, central Illinois. Hope it's not too bad for all of you. We have a lot to talk about. We didn't get to talk last week, and I want to make sure that you guys remember that I am going to be transitioning my blog. I need to get up for 1 second. Transitioning my blog from talking about nebulous children to discussing more issues in psychology. Trying not to have a collapse of computers here as I try to log onto Facebook. And so with that transition, what's going to happen is that, and it already started, is that I'm going to be talking more about issues related to psychology that I hear from, some of you asking questions, even asking questions from, when I'm working with some kids and also parents that I'm working with. So sometimes it's easier to just come on this podcast and talk about them as opposed to just trying to answer questions individually. So if you are on Facebook trying to view this, I am sorry. For some reason, none of my browsers are working today, and I have no idea why, to get me on Facebook Live, which typically means they probably switched something up on me, and I just don't know what happened. So I have to figure that out. However, you can go onto Instagram if you want to see me live. And on Instagram, it will be at Dr. Lisa 3. I am not on Kids Can See Ghosts at gmail.com right now. It is more active on the other webpage, which is, again, at Dr. Lisa 3. So for now, I'm going to give up Facebook until I figure out Sorry, I turned my mic off by mistake. I am going to give Facebook up until I can figure out what is actually going on with my Facebook page. Technology, love it. Sometimes you hate it, right? Right now, I'm hating it. All right, so let's get started. I want to talk about grief today, which comes from blog 69, Loved Ones and Grief. And there are a couple of reasons why I like to talk about it. One is because a lot of people are going through grief right now. I did put a video up about feeling sad. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I did open it up to the public on Facebook. So make sure when you have a chance, go over to Facebook and take a look at that video. I'm talking about sadness. I just feel compelled to talk about sadness this week, and I am going to talk about suicide. It is tragic. No matter when it happens or who it happens with or why it happens, because sometimes we try to figure out why individuals in their lives, right? And we can't always understand, especially if we do not suffer from some of the conditions that individuals suffer from who decide to take their own lives. So my heart today goes out to the family of Twitch. You guys know who he is, and probably by now have heard about his untimely death. And it's tragic and it's sad. And I've been working all day, so I actually didn't know about it. And I didn't know about it until about 4:30. And I thought, what happened? So I have the same responses that you all do when it comes down to, these kind of situations. So DJ Steven T Witch died today, and he died by suicide. He's 40 years old. I've actually had two young people in their lives who were under my care. So, psychologists have a lot of answers to behaviors. What happened? Why would they do something like this? What behaviors are happening right before they decide to end their lives and things like that. Let me tell you, sometimes we don't even have the answers, and we can do everything in our power to try to stop this. So, for example, one person, we put everything in place to stop this person from ending their lives. I mean, for weeks and weeks and weeks, there were interventions, there was support, there was therapy, there was medication, there was a psychiatrist, there were different behavior interventions put in place, there were parental phone calls, there was all kinds of management for this person's behavior, and it didn't work. This person ended their life. And let me tell you, I cried and I cried for weeks because I was so sad that this person was gone. This person was gone, and I'll never forget that because, it was hurtful. When I think about that person, it still can be hurtful. So a common question that I'll get when these things happen, other than the obvious, trying to find answers. Even back then, this person's parents said to me, how do I recover from this? And, how will I know if he or she will give me a sign that they're okay, right? Some of the questions I actually can't answer because I don't know. I don't know if people will give you a sign, or, when people ask things like, will angels come, or are they going to heaven? Are they this? Are they that? And these are questions that I just can't answer. But I have been talking to a lot of, when I say a lot, I have to tell you it's a lot for me to talk to at least 5 to 10 people, which may be minimal for some psychologists. But when I say 5 to 10 people, I'm not just talking about clients, I'm talking about people in my life. Just a lot of people are just really sad right now. The holidays bring about so much grief and memories and tragedies and bereavement over loved ones and family, that people want to see their loved ones again and want to know, will I get these signs from loved ones. And so I've actually asked nebulous children, I've asked nebulous parents, I've asked different people who have lost loved ones, and they gave me answers. And can I prove to you that these things are true? Absolutely not. Obviously, I'm not doing a research study in this where I have actual hard data explaining these things, but I will tell you that the majority said, oh, yeah, sometimes they send you, signs we can see, you know, um, our deceased loved ones sometimes. Now, are these entities actually their deceased loved ones? Understand that Dr. Lisa doesn't know. However, this is what they're sharing with me. And so, even if they are not who or what we think they are providing some solstice for people, right? Um, and a lot of the individuals that I spoke to have shared with me that there will be certain signs, and it can come through your animals, it can come through as a smell, it can come through as a touch. Some people have dreams and they will see their loved ones in a dream, or they will see, I know someone who saw lights flash when someone passed away, things like that. So, as far as I know, just in talking to other people who either have this ability or can, see different things, yes, they will show you. I've heard people talk about seeing birds, like cardinals are popular. Some of the even nebulous kids will tell me that cardinals, the bird, the red, beautiful cardinal bird, which is actually my favorite bird, that and the blue jay, that they will appear, and that sometimes angels appear as cardinal birds. I have a lot of stories about cardinals, actually. And so, these are the different types of things that I've been told by these individuals. Now, personally, I will tell you on a personal note, I had a friend pass away about 2 years ago, I think. And I don't even know if I shared this with anyone other than my family or on my blog. I don't know if I shared it, but I will tell you that the night before I saw um, something in my dream, and it was white and it was glowy and surrounded by other white lights that glowed. It reminded me of like a holy presence or God's angels. And I didn't know what all of that meant. I had no idea. And so the next day, I found out that this friend of mine had died and didn't put the connection together at all. And maybe a couple days later, I thought about it. I really kind of tapped into mentally what that dream was all about because it was bugging me. And when I thought about it, it was more of these white lights surrounding the one white light in the middle. And I thought, oh man. And I think I shared it with my mom. I said, I think this person was telling me goodbye because we were very close as kids. And I said, and I'm almost positive that, this person was saying goodbye to me, which would have made sense because we were very, very close as kids, like really tight. So it would make sense that, I might be one of the people living that this person would want to say goodbye to and did say goodbye. So I know that this time of the year is hard, guys. I know that a lot of you are grieving. I know that this can be a happy time within our lives, but it can also be a time where we really have this empty feeling. The most important thing I want you to understand is that you're not alone. You are not alone. You're not. You can always talk to a psychologist or a therapist. A therapist can be a social worker. A therapist can be a master's level psychologist. You know, a therapist could actually be a psychologist, and some psychiatrists are doing therapy. So, this is not what people, therapy is not what people think it is. It's not a stigma, attached to it. We get heavily trained. Like, actually, we go to school probably longer than some medical doctors, and people don't know that. And so it takes a lot. We have to make sure we care about people and not harm them and treat them properly and not misdiagnose. And so to do that, we have to go to school for a long time. And our professors, at least mine, taught us various strategies in dealing with situations, for example, like suicide. And many psychologists will attest to the same point. So when you go to a psychologist or a therapist or a psychiatrist about, feeling sad, we're not just there to give you advice. As a matter of fact, the majority of psychologists won't actually give you advice. We give you strategies and different things that we're trained to do in order to help. So, for example, my specialty has always been ADHD. So parents will come to me with impulsive kids. I'm not going to tell them, just tell your kids to just sit your behinds down, and that's the strategy we're going to do. Grandma can tell them that, right? So I'm going to do a little bit more than what grandma would do. Not that there's anything wrong with grandma's, focus and strategy, but Dr. Lisa has been trained to do extensive things with kids and teach them, the parents who have hyperactivity or impulsivity or, inattentiveness. So, I want you to think of us as trained professionals who can help you through this. I would prefer you to do that. If your sadness is starting to get in the way of you functioning, right? So I want you to talk to someone about those things. Talk to your family, open up, let them know that you're going through these things. I know life is hard, guys. It is. I know it's hard. It's been hard on me too sometimes at various points in my life, but it is worth living, and we can make sure you stay. Okay, we can try as hard as we can. So you don't have to take that route. But my prayers, my heart, my love and condolences go all the way out to those of you who have been inflicted with this type of pain. And if you haven't, I don't want you to go through it. Okay, get the help that you need. If you need referrals in your area, you can always send me a private message, and I'll try to help you find someone in your area to help you do that. So God bless Stephen Boss's family. It's very tragic and shocking too. As you can see, I get bothered by it. I actually had another situation where, someone ended their life, and it was both of these situations were many years ago, and this one younger than the first one. And these things get to me, but man, when it's a kid, it really does something to my soul. It really does. Yeah. One of the, I have to share this with you guys. You don't make the mistake of not taking people seriously when they tell you that they're sad, or they tell you they want to end their lives, or they share with you that life is really, really hard. Sometimes I could pick up in a parent's voice or my friends' voices when things are just too hard and they're getting to them. And just being their friend, I take it seriously and I intervene. Um, I've had friends that, and I've had situations where, I had to really talk to some of my friends, because life just gets to us, right? But the goal here is to take things seriously, just as serious as we would take hearing somebody say, "I want to harm someone else." You guys always take those two things seriously, and you do something about it. You should not think lightly of these two issues. Okay. All right. How do you recover from these things? I would be lying to you if I told you it was hard. It was easy. Because it's not. It's not. It's going to take some extensive therapy for Twitch's wife to get through the loss of her husband. It takes extensive therapy to get through a suicide, um, and a death from natural consequences or any type of loss. Um, and it can impact your own feelings to the point where you start feeling a bit hopeless, and you start feeling dark and helpless, and you stop eating and you stop sleeping yourself. And when those things happen to you and it's grief, I would like for you to grieve, right? When it gets to the point where it just significantly impacts you over a certain period of time, then you have a duty to yourself to seek help for that. But people forget to tell other people that it is okay to be sad, and it's okay to express sadness. A lot of individuals are taught to suck it up and keep going. And like I said in my video, that's bad advice. You don't just suck up your emotions. Humans have emotions and we need to express them. And I can't tell you that enough. And you need to express them because it is healthy, right? When we are engaged in deep feelings and then we keep moving like little robots, your body's not a robot. We can't function like that, folks. So we have to express our feelings. When you do not express them properly, your body will start to show you that it's stressed out. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Your body will show you. Start getting sick. You start getting colds. Stress starts getting to you, right? Because a buildup of emotions is stressing your body out. You get all this cortisol because you're constantly running and constantly avoiding and constantly doing things other than focusing on yourself. And so your body can't deal with it, so it has to let it out somewhere. And some of you I see letting it out on the road, driving like bats out of hell, cutting people off, getting mad, honking the horn, having road rage. Some of you are actually hurting other people and unable to stay, in relationships, or bouncing from relationship to relationship. You guys have got to have normal emotions. So when grief comes along, go ahead and grieve. If you are angry, but be angry appropriately. And if you have trouble handling those emotions, if you don't want to seek a professional, do things to make yourself feel better. Go to the gym, get some exercise, go for a walk. Exercise is highly correlated to improving most forms of mental illness. Okay. Write a book, read a book, get a blog like I do, get it out somehow. There have been times that I've been really angry or really sad, and I'll go to my blog. I was probably sad when I wrote this about grief. And I'll write a whole topic on how I get through grief and share it with all of you. But I just changed the focus to the public instead of myself. But the secret is I was probably sad over something when I wrote this about grief. So that's how I get it out. And that's a way that you all can get it out as well. Now, This is very important. Allow yourselves to be sad over grief around your children. Okay? Children learn how to have emotions from parents. If we teach children to go around like robots and not deal with their emotions, then you are teaching them an unhealthy way of growing as an adult with stable emotion. Kids can go to funerals. Kids need closure too. They can cry. They can see you cry. My kids have seen me jump down and up and down in rage. My kids have seen me behave appropriately in rage. They have seen me cry. They have heard me yell. My kids have heard me having all kinds of emotions. But then when I have those, I teach them the proper way to behave in those emotions. And now they do it. You have to show your kids when tragedy happens, such as death, unexpected death. It's all right to show them that you are shocked, that it's okay to have these emotions and these traumatic experiences. And this is how you come out of them. You come out of them healthy because you have allowed yourself to be healthy. So you are their best teacher when it comes down to grief and trauma. And your kids don't realize it yet, but you are their best friends and you are teaching them how to be healthy and productive adults by showing them that it is all right to be sad. So I hope that, when we talk about grief, and suicide, you guys know there is a suicide hotline that you can contact if you need to. And I am actually going to give you that number because help is available. Now, I don't know if a lot of you know this, but I just had to look it up real quick because I forgot the 3-digit number. But nowadays, you can call 988, and that is available 24 hours a day. It's a suicide and crisis line. If you're unable to do that, you can get support within your general area as well. There are hospitals. So the ER, you can take someone to the ER. There are mental health centers. There are all kinds of facilities that you can go to get help. So you don't have to make the choice to end your life. Help is there. If you have any questions, make sure you all contact me. I am readily available. Maybe we all can learn something from this on how to grieve. When tragedy like this happens, it even reminds me that I need to talk about these things more often on my blog or this podcast on social media, because this is real. It is real. It's happening. I see it in kids. It's going up in kids. All right, we're going to end right there. We'll get back to my blog next week. I appreciate you guys joining live this week. I will be here next week live, and then I'm going to take a break the week of Christmas. Please make sure you go to my website and go under the category of questions and start sharing the questions that you have on there so that I can answer them. This week, I am going to post a blog about how parents cause hidden trauma in their kids. Hidden. This is the kind of stuff we don't see, but I see it, and I'm sure other psychologists and professionals in mental health see it as well. So you guys, I'll see you next week, and you have a good night.